Deep in the Whisperwood lived a girl named Emma who loved the sound of singing birds and babbling brooks. But one day she heard music unlike any she'd heard before. It was coming from under the ground, vibrating up through her feet and making her whole body sway. She followed the music until she came to a beautiful field full of colorful mushrooms. And there in the center, bathed in a circle of light, was a tiny mushroom house. The music stopped and Emma peeked around the house. There she saw a group of little mushrooms dressed in robes, and they were singing in perfect harmony. But when Emma stepped out of the trees, the song abruptly ended. The mushrooms gasped and fell silent. "Oh, I'm sorry," Emma said. "I didn't mean to interrupt your practice." One of the mushrooms hopped down from his stool. He was smaller than the others with a blue cap and white spots. "It's all right," he said. "We were just getting ready for the annual Forest Harmony Festival. All the creatures of the woods come together to sing and celebrate the coming of spring." "That sounds wonderful," Emma said, "but why don't you start practicing again?" "I'll be quiet and just listen." The little blue mushroom shook his head sadly. "We can't without Finnegan. He's our best singer, but he's lost his voice." "What happened?" Emma asked. The biggest mushroom with a red cap and white spots sighed. "He went to the top of Hoot Owl Tree to look for rare song spores, but he slipped and fell. Now he can't sing, and without him, we're out of harmony." Emma wanted to help, so she asked, "Where does Finnegan live?" "In the Singing Springs," one of the yellow mushrooms said, "but it's a dangerous place. Even the bravest woodland creatures avoid it because of the grumpy trolls that live there." Emma wasn't afraid. She had faced grumpy trolls before, and she knew they couldn't stand the sound of singing. If she could bring Finnegan back to the Singing Springs and collect his song before the trolls noticed her, she might be able to save the festival. So Emma set off for the Singing Springs. As she walked, she thought about how she could get past the trolls. They hated singing, so maybe if she sang a really good song herself, they would like it so much that they wouldn't bother her. But who had a better voice than Finnegan? Maybe Benny, the bluebird who always sang in the early morning. Emma flew over to Benny and explained her plan. Benny loved helping others, so he agreed to help her find Finnegan. Soon they arrived at the Singing Springs. But before Emma could get close, a huge green troll stuck his head out of the water and roared, "Who's down there?" Emma quickly hid behind a rock. She had an idea. Maybe she could distract the troll by making a funny face. She stuck out her tongue and made a face like a grumpy troll. The troll looked confused. Then he started to giggle. Soon he was laughing so hard that he fell back into the water. When he was gone, Emma carefully walked to the edge of the lake and waded in. The water was cold, but she kept going until she reached a small mushroom house in the middle of the lake. And there in front of the house sat Finnegan. "Are you all right?" Emma asked. "I'm better now that you're here, Emma," Finnegan said. "I've been waiting for someone to help me get my voice back." Emma sat beside him, and just as she began to tell him about the festival, Benny landed on a nearby tree and started to sing his best song. As the music filled the forest, Finnegan closed his eyes and listened. When the song ended, he took a deep breath and opened his eyes. His voice was back. He sang a beautiful note, and the moment that sound touched Emma's ear, she knew that this was the note that Finnegan had lost. She ran as fast as she could to the Harmony Festival. The other mushrooms were just about to give up hope when they heard the sound of rushing footsteps. There in front of them stood Emma holding out her hand. The moment they saw the light inside her palm, the mushrooms gasped. "Is that the sound from Finnegan?" The red mushroom asked. "It is," Emma said. "And it's only the beginning." She placed the note in the center of the circle, and as the other mushrooms began to sing, Emma walked outside. The light grew brighter, and soon the entire forest glowed with the colors of the rainbow. All the animals joined in, and together they sang songs of spring and friendship and the joy of making music.